Hi guys, welcome to Origin. This is mainly for Galen's benefit, and it does concern a lot of drama that goes on YouTube. So the first thing I want to say is that all of this stuff that has happened has caused some people to incessantly talk about how people are being suspended, false flagged, and is ruining the quality of some people's videos. They're just being they're just being led to just make videos about this incessantly, not produce anything of substance. So I'm going to try and avoid this, but I did promise Galen that I would make this video in the future. And I don't just say this randomly. I know for a fact that there are people out there that are just not happy with this. Everyone just making videos about, oh, someone else has been suspended, someone else has been flagged, and YouTube's such a mess and all this. So if possible, I'm certainly going to make as conscious an attempt as possible to try and make this my last word on this subject. I mean, if something outlandish happens, then yes, I probably will say something else, but yeah. Anyway, I've gone on too long about that already. The first thing I want to say that's wrong with YouTube is I'm not sure exactly how much of it is right, to be honest. The rating system, first of all. Now, yes, there are vote bots that one-star people's videos, but the first thing is, I don't think the rating system is really good for anything anyway, because once you get a decent amount of subscribers, and this decent amount is not like thousands or hundreds or anything like that, it's even just like 5 or 10. But once you have a certain amount of viewers, it just gets to the point where people 5-star your videos no matter what. I myself am very lenient with my 5 stars. I tend to just hand them around. And that ends up in most people just 5-starring each other's videos. So the rating system doesn't really take into account basic human psychology, if you like. I really only tend to 1-star videos that I find are in some way disgusting or offensive. And even that's just a rarity normally, or if I really strongly disagree. So I would just say completely scrap the rating system. What I'd do instead is that I'd have a system where somehow is basically what we'd have in place of a rating system is a viewing system, not like the one we have now where it goes up 1 every time you click on a video, but where it registers somehow, I don't know if this is practical or not, but how much of the video has been watched. So let's say you get halfway through the video, it would say 0.5 views or something like that. And then it just shows, how much of the video people have watched. So people that have watched all the way through the video will have given that, 1 view, or maybe even just in minutes or something, like minutes of the video watched or something like that. And to give that, and instead that can be substituted for a kind of a point system to determine, roughly how watchable your videos are, and that should give a more reasonable impression of how how successful your videos are at interesting people, making people interested, making people informed, stuff like that, whatever, It's just an idea I want to throw out there. Next, I want to talk about the flagging system. Now, obviously the problem here is that it seems pretty much, I don't think many people would argue with the fact that YouTube really doesn't check its content. It really doesn't check flagged videos. Or if it does, it has double standards, like TJ said, we don't get away with anything, but channels like Playboy get away with murder. Well, not murder, just the kind of stuff Playboy normally does. But which is very much against YouTube's guidelines, but like I said, double standards. We're not extended the same courtesies as them, so that presents a problem. Now, what else? Flagging in general, I think this is a difficult one, because we can't expect YouTube to go around manually checking every single video, because there are probably at this time billions of videos. There may be as many videos as there are human beings on the planet, I don't know. Maybe that could be completely wrong. I don't care, I'm just making a random statistic up here, so whatever it is, I just know that there's tons of videos out there and there's no way that YouTube staff could manually check them all. So if there's content up there that is really, really offensive and sometimes even dangerous, there needs to be a way to sort that out. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that in YouTube's defense, certainly on the spot, there's not much I can think of doing with this whole flagging system. It's really... Yeah, one thing I did want to say is that it's not so much YouTube's problem, it's the mentality behind its viewers, the whole troll behaviour. That is just as much a problem as YouTube. We really just tend to focus on YouTube and we don't really do much about trolls. We don't do much to actively discourage troll-like behaviour. In fact, you know, with the greatest of respect to people who engage in like ownage quite regularly, or have even made a substantial subscriber base out of it, we're even encouraging troll-like behaviour and such things like that, which is one of the reasons why I'm pretty much anti-ownage, for the most part anyway, certainly when it comes to insulting other people. So it's a difficult situation. There's not much we can do about the flagging system, but I think we should attempt to more consciously focus on, you know, getting to the bottom of this troll-like behaviour, seeing if there's some way we could discourage it. And I know that doesn't seem likely. I wouldn't even presume for 1 second that there's so much as that it's very likely that we're going to be able to do anything about it, but we should at least try. You know, we shouldn't just say, oh, that's just how it is. And, you know, people coming to YouTube should expect that, and, you know, they should have thick skin for this kind of stuff. And that's certainly the mentality that seems to be going on in ownage videos as well, but I'm not going to talk about ownage videos, I'm just going to end up digressing horribly.